Hi, this is Cass from Aussie Cass Plays, and welcome to part 30 of my Criminal Empire challenge. Oh my god. There's a lot of things I want to do, but inconveniently between Zane's university classes and Alex's work schedule, I have to kind of work around that now. Obviously, when you've got a sim in the middle of a university degree, you can't load other lots while they're actively in the middle of a term, because the term continues whether or not you're playing the sim, and the sim will flunk out of class. So, you know, we're a bit more restricted now that we have a kid in uni, and yeah, Addison is also going to be going to uni, so it's going to be even worse. But we just got an invitation from Carissa for Ashley to go to the gym, and I'm thinking, given Jace is already in the middle of a workout, it won't be Zane, but I'm thinking we might take Jace with us. And maybe also Nadia. What do you reckon? I think that's a good idea. Because we haven't seen Nadia for a while. I feel like Ashley deserves a little bit of couple time. And I feel like hitting the gym is the kind of thing that a member of the Fixers would do for couple time. And Jace is like, hey, do you mind if I come along? You know, I want to... He's got his eye on a pretty girl. He wants to make himself look a little, you know, more ripped than he currently is. I mean, he's an ink-stained fellow. He's a paint-stained fellow. So he's like, you know, I want to look good for my girlfriend. Now, he has told his family that he and Cassidy are a couple, but he has told them exactly nothing about where she lives, where she works, any of that. And obviously Cassidy hasn't told her family that she's even in a relationship, because it wouldn't take a huge amount of digging for them to figure out who Jason is. He's the son of the boss of their enemy gang. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Not this fella. This one. Well, fella. Carissa's pregnant, you guys. I'm going to send Jason inside to work out. He's going to do some energized heavy lifting. But I'm going to have Ashley be like, Carissa, is there something you maybe wanted to share? Because she's certainly dressed to share it. This is not a pregnancy that anyone is trying to hide. She's like, yeah, you know, remember how I mentioned that fella Bruce? Well, yeah. So she is pregnant with Bruce's baby, and Ashley's like, does Bruce know? And she's like, well, I've told him. How does he feel about that? Are you guys gonna, you know, get married and stuff? And Carissa's saying that it's yeah, oh, I think that was Lex. It was Carissa's basically saying, look, that's yet to be determined. Ashley will say to Carissa that she can talk to Alex about making it happen if Carissa's, you know, well, ask if she wants kids. I was like, so are you happy with this? Oh, are you leaving? I asked her if she wanted kids and she left. She just left on us. Do I want kids? I don't know. And then she bailed. So I'll have these guys kind of gossip, and she'll be like, can you believe my older sister is pregnant? And Nadia's like, well, I mean, you know, when a man and a woman love each other very much, then that's the thing I hear can happen. She's like, yeah, but Carissa's like, never, ever in her life, ever. They're having a little kissy, because obviously I feel like these two should spend a bit of time together. Nadia's basically saying, well, how do you feel about that? I mean, your brothers had kids, and now your big sister's pregnant with some random's baby. And Ashley's saying, well, it's not just some random. The guy's like loaded. He's a millionaire. Nadia's like, well, you know, maybe she just had to wait for the right guy to come along, you know? Ashley's basically saying, look, I am stunned more than anything, and I have no doubt in my mind that she was waiting for the right man to come along, and the definition of the right man. You know, I love my sister, but I am aware of her flaws or her preferences, and I have no doubt that she wouldn't have gotten pregnant accidentally. Basically, Nadia's trying to get a read on Ashley's mood, because Ashley seems a little bit shocked And Nadia is wondering if the reason that she seems so perturbed by the whole thing is that she actually wants kids. You know, obviously that's a thing Nadia, despite the fact these two love each other, that's not a thing that they can do together. She's going to kiss her cheek and basically say, look, I feel like between managing my brother and his family, they obviously haven't noticed that she just walked past, my brother and his family, you know, I feel effectively like I have kids already. I'm not saying it wouldn't be awesome to have a kid around, but, you know, he's got so many kids. Hang on, is that Logan? It is Logan. So that's Nadia's cousin. Ashley didn't see Lex because she was distracted by the whole baby thing. Lex has clearly seen Ashley because she's just come straight up to her and they're saying hi to one another, which is nice. They're having a conversation. She's basically slagging out to Lex to Logan. And Logan's like, God, you suck. So Lex is like, stop it. And Logan's like, God, you suck. You stink like flies. Oh, they got a negative sentiment to one another. Oh, is that Cordelia? Have we inadvertently ended up with a club gathering and I didn't even choose one? We've got Cordelia. We've got Logan. Jace is not even in the gang. That's Jenny over there. I didn't realise this was a club thing. They've obviously heard that Lex was going to be here and, like, have gathered the troops and stuff. Well, obviously, I do feel like we do need to come down here and get stuck into her. And Jason's like, oh my god. Can't go anywhere with my family. So he's taken himself off into the next room. So Ashley's getting stuck into Lex and they're having a little bit of a fight. Oh, that's Devon. And Cassidy has just come up. I'm very confused. When did she arrive? So Cassidy's basically seen them and then has walked off. So Jason's like, what are you doing here? He's pulled her into this room and been like, Cassidy, seriously, why? People are going to see you. And she's like, well, if you hadn't come up and talked to me, it would not have been obvious there was a connection. He's like, my family know there's a connection. She's like, yeah, but it's not obvious that there's a connection between me and the bears, is there? He's like, well, you keep showing up at places where the bears are, don't you? So I think they're going to have a little bit of an argument. So he's like, Cassidy, seriously? They're having an argument. Nadia's just come and inserted herself into the middle of it. Jason is going to tell Nadia to go away. Oh, she looks so mad. This makes me really sad, but when the Sims are doing stupid things, I feel like I should have them react in a way that they would normally react. So Nadia is dancing, but is presumably standing this close to eavesdrop on the conversation. You know, the cat may well be out of the bag is what I'm saying, because the Sims just don't do what I want them to. Okay, they still don't have a negative sentiment. That's good. So I've just put the two of them in a group. I'm just going to have them go out here together, just a little bit away from everybody. And he's just going to try and talk to her about the situation. She's like, look, fine, okay. But Nadia did see the whole thing. She's going to come in and be like, ooh. Ashley kind of didn't let her talk just then. She's like, hey babe, what's up? And she's like, look, I just saw Jason having an argument with his girlfriend and they were talking about the bears. So I don't know what that's about. So Ashley's like, okay, look, I will talk to him about it. Please don't say anything to anyone else for now. You know, she's realizing that Alex would go completely ballistic and she wants to find out more about it. Basically, Nadia's like, of course, babe, anything for you. But are you worried? And she's like, well, of course I'm worried. I worry about everything. I worry about Alex. Now I'm worried about Carissa. I thought she was like the most competent of my siblings. You know, bloody Dale got himself into a relationship with a vampire, so clearly he can't be trusted to make good sense decisions. What's going on? Oh, he lost the argument. He basically tried to tell Cassidy off and she's left. Oh, baby. So they've come home and Jason's taking himself straight off to have a shower. I'm going to have Ashley cook a low-fat chili for the fam. Honey, get off the computer. You're about to pee yourself. Waddle as fast as you can. So yeah, Jason's gone off to have a shower and Ashley's basically pondering what she's seen. She's like, so Cassidy's pregnant. She's clearly, from Ashley's point of view, it's cut and dry that she's trying to baby trap Bruce. You know, she may genuinely have feelings for Bruce as well. Maybe it's possible, but I think Ashley's seen enough of her sister, even though she does love her, to know what kind of person she is. So she's like, well, the issue of whether Cassidy is trying to get this guy to marry her and whether or not I need to assist with that. Frankly, Cassidy can let me know. I'll let Alex know that when he gets home from work, but I don't actually think that's our problem. But the situation with Jason and Cassidy might be a problem because obviously Cassidy just had to show up at the gym with all of the bears, didn't she? Now, I don't know if that's because do the people who show at the gyms tend to have the active trait? I can't remember if she has the active trait. Jason would know. Let's have a quick look. I'm just curious because she's shown up at gyms twice now. She does. So maybe if you have the active trait, you are the sim that the game loads on a gym lot, which I didn't realize. So that's a thing. I guess I've maybe created that problem for myself. So I'm going to get him to come down here. He's also hungry. So he's going to come into the kitchen. He can't eat a ground breakfast. He can eat the vegetable casserole. So I'll get him to get one of those. All right. So he's come in and sat down and she's going to basically go straight into a deep conversation with him. Jason, I just need to know something. And Jason's like, what? And he's got a sinking feeling because obviously that whole thing just happened in front of his aunt. She's like, Jason, we've seen Cassidy twice now hanging out in gyms that bears have been at simultaneously. And he's like, look, she really likes to work out is all. Ashley's like, look, do you think I'm stupid? Like, what is the connection? She's talking about money because she's like, what is the connection between your girlfriend and the bears? And Ashley, look, I can't believe you got into a fight, Ashley. You were there, dude. So he's like, look, I really love her, okay? And Ashley's like, yeah, but that's not what I'm asking you. He's like, but she can't help who she's related to. So he's going to tell her an engaging story. He's trying to kind of get her on his side. He's like, look, Ashley, her sister's a member of the Bears. She's not, okay? I only just found out and, you know, we really care about each other and I don't want to lose her. You know, I really care about her. Ashley's like, yeah, great story. Clap, clap. So she's going to say, look, I really admire you, Jason, and thank you for being honest with me. But you can see the problem this causes, right? And he's like, yes, I can. And I want to get her out of that situation. I figure if she wasn't, so close to them, then it wouldn't be such a problem. Like, maybe we could she could run away and then we could put her in protection or something. And then, like what we did with Jenny and Maya. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Ashley's like, look, does your girlfriend want protection from her own family? He's like, look, I don't know. I don't know if she does or not, but it's the only thing I can think of. She's like, look, how does she feel about the Bears? He's like, well, she's not a fan, but her older sister's a member, so I think she feels like she has to support her sister. So she's like, look, how close is she to them physically? And he's like, she lives in the house. She lives in the biker club house with her sister because her sister had custody of her and was like looking after her when she was a teenager. And Ashley's like, Jason, this is really, really bad. So what I want to do is have her ask about, did she even meet Cassidy? By the way, if I scroll a little bit further down, she's actually met Cassidy's sister, but they have like zero relationship with one another because they just didn't really interact. Oh, here we go, Madison. So Cassidy and Madison Helm, you can tell they're like cut from the same cloth. They look so much alike each other. But she's going to basically say, how do you, like, is it too late? You know? And he's like, look, I'm so in love with her. Please don't tell me that I have to break up with her and please don't tell Dad. And she's like, well, I can't keep this a secret from your father. Basically, he's lost for words. He's like, please help me. There's got to be something we can do. And she's like, look, I'll think about it. This is a really difficult situation, Jason. You've put us all in a really difficult situation, including your girlfriend. He's like, well, I know. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm so proud of myself. I will do anything to be with Cassidy, but I don't want to betray the fixers. I won't. I won't betray mum and dad. I won't betray you. Like, I swear to you, I won't. She's like, but you've brought this girl into our house. So you don't know what she could have done while she was here. You know, she could be reporting back to the others. And he's like, I don't think she would do that. And Ashley's like, well, do you think she would be willing to betray the bears for us? Do you think she'd be willing to, like, let us into their hangout, for example? And he's like, look, I don't know. Like, I don't think she'd want her sister to be hurt. I don't know if Cassidy would be willing to betray the bears. I feel like she might. She clearly doesn't like the gang leader. She seems scared of him. But, wow, I can't believe you got into a fight. Ashley and won. You can't believe she won? Have you seen her? She is basically made of sharpened steel. Jason, come on. Ashley's suggesting that the two of them will get together with Cassidy and just have a conversation with her and try and get a sense for whether or not she'd be... Because if Cassidy's actually willing to help the fixers, she could be a real asset. But I'm going to let these Sims go to bed because I've had them locked in this room so they wouldn't walk away. Okay, so Jason has invited Cassidy to the shop to show her all of the artwork he's done, because it's quite impressive when you kind of look down this line of brilliant, and some of these are masterpieces as well, so when they sell it's going to be catching. So he's saying, look, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to see you was because I wanted to apologize for what happened at the gym. And she's like, look, I didn't know you guys were going to be there. Lex was like, hey, come along, and drag me along, and I couldn't really say no. And he's like, look, are you actually a member of the gang or not? Like, the way you're describing that, it sounds kind of like you are. And she's like, well, you know, when you live with these people, if they're like, come with me, I mean, have you seen Lex? He's like, yeah, my aunt's beat her up a few times. I saw the last fight. She wasn't that tough. She scares me, and Shark scares me too. And he's like, well, I actually was hoping, would you agree to talk to my aunt about the situation? She's like, well, I don't really want to. And he's like, well, my aunt's girlfriend heard you and I arguing, and she knows. Cassidy's like, well, what does she know? Like, she knows. She knows everything was relevant. She knows. And he's like, Cassidy's like, Jason, I thought we were going to keep this secret. Now, of course, at that exact moment, Ashley comes out. So she's going to be like, how long did you guys, and she's chastising both of them, stop dancing. How long did you two think that you would be able to keep this going? How long did you think you would be able to keep this secret? Cassidy's like, well, honestly, I thought longer than we had. I thought that we could do it more than we had. And it's like, well, we move in the same circles, Cassidy. Like, your family and my family move in the same circles. It is inevitable that we are going to come across one another, you know? And Cassidy's like, yeah, maybe. I think what I'm going to try and do is have Ashley persuade Cassidy to try and be willing to betray the bears. So we'll ask what she thinks of Shark. And we'll ask what she thinks of Lex, because they're basically the leaders. So it's like, what do you think of them both? And she's like, well, I don't really like Shark, but my sister is trapped in that gang. If she left, they would kill her. She kind of got sucked into it because they got her addicted to drugs, and, you know, she's off them now, but they kind of own her. And she's like, well, Lex is pretty cool, which is, you know, concerning. So she doesn't like the actual leader, but the leader's wife's all right. You know, I mean, Lex dragged her out to the gym, so they obviously get on at least a little bit. You guys both need to make a choice here, okay? So, Jason, this includes you. You need to decide whose side you're on. I'll propose a crazy scheme. Look, the only way I think I can get this to fly with your father, Jason, is if Cassidy agrees to help us. Cassidy's like, you have to understand here, I'm feeling pretty trapped in this situation. I'm feeling a little bit threatened by you. And Jason's like, look, I wouldn't let her hurt you. And Cassidy's saying, honestly, Jason, I really like you, but I have seen your aunt in a fight and she could kick your ass. And Jason's like, yeah, she could. I don't think there's any doubt of that. I'm a painter, not a warrior. So they're over there having a quiet little conversation, admiring the statue that Alex stole at one point from a church, which has not sold. Cassidy, I want to be with you. And if this is the only way that we can be together, I know we're asking a lot of you. And she's like, yeah, I don't see you volunteering to leave your family gang. He's like, well, I live with them. And have you met my dad? Like, you know, do you want to, we could just run away. The two of us could just run away. She's like, look, I can see how loyal you are to your family. And you wouldn't just leave and cut them off. And he's like, well, no. Dad's basically raised us, like, to help the gang. She's like, look, I get it. You're asking me to betray my sister. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm asking you to help your sister get away from the gang. And she's like, well, if we could do that, I might consider it. So have a think about how you would do that, because I'm not going to do anything that could result in her ending up in jail or killed by either your parents or by Shark. You're going to have to figure out a way for both of us. And Jason's like, okay, look, I'll talk to my aunt. I won't tell my dad. She might, though. So just be prepared for that. And Cassidy's like, yeah, okay. Look, I have to go. You have a think about how you would get us out of this situation, and I'll have a think about how far I'm willing to go to help you do that. And he's like, well, if we agree to help you guys get out, then presumably you want that, right? And she's like, yeah, I do. I just don't know if my sister will, that's all. So it's later in the evening, and Ashley's invited Nadia over so she could kind of catch her up on the situation, because the thing is that she's promised Jason she won't tell Alex about everything straight away, but she still is like, I need to think of what to do here. And she's not the schemer of the family. So, and Nadia also knows, because Nadia was the one that warned Ashley in the first place that, you know, the two of them were arguing about the bears. So she's basically saying, look, thank you so much for telling me. You were right. It turns out Cassidy is her older sister is a member of the bears. That's why we've seen them around together. Nadia's like, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, I don't know. Like, Jason begged me not to say anything to Alex. Nadia's like, look, are you going to do that? Like, Nadia's a bit shocked because Ashley's never not done what Alex wanted, down to hiding affairs and things from his wife. I don't know. Like, I want to find a way to help the two of them be together. You know, they clearly love each other. And I feel like Cassidy's trapped in a bad situation and her sister's trapped in a bad situation. Nadia's like, is it possible that Jason feels trapped? And she's like, well, that's what I don't want to have happen. You know, he's family. If Cassidy were Shark's daughter or something, that would be a bit different, but she's not. So there's got to be a way to help her out. Nadia's like, you're such a sweetheart. You know, you're always trying to look out for people and you always see the best in people. And I really love that about you. So Ashley's also going to say, that other thing you asked me about how I feel about having children. You're effectively Giovanna's mum now, and have been since she was a toddler. And I don't feel the need to give birth myself. And Nadia's like, no, neither do I. So they're basically agreeing, look, insofar as the two of them having kids, Ashley doesn't feel like, you know, she's happy to, hey, stop it. All right, fine. Obviously, Nadia's like, it's time for bed, honey. And basically she's saying, look, I don't need other kids. I don't need to, like, do IVF. If you wanted a baby, then I would support you, but I don't feel like I need to do that myself. And I'm going to have them kiss, and I'm actually going to see how this goes. So, because I think these guys have been together for a really, really long time. So I think it's time they took their relationship to the next level. What that's going to mean in terms of living arrangements for the Sims, I have no idea. Whether I have potentially Ashley, Nadia, and Giovanna all live in a house together, that is actually a possibility. I know the rules of this challenge. The thing is, I feel like we've almost effectively won the challenge because we've met the financial requirements. See, I'm interrupting this beautiful moment by talking about rules. That's how I roll. Nadia said yes, that's gorgeous. I love them both. I think they need to woohoo now. Hang on, wait. There's so much going on, but I need to take the moment to appreciate these two together. She's like, my brother and his kids and all of the complicated fixes stuff sometimes is just a little bit distracting and I need to just focus on myself for a bit. So the two of them just got engaged. Now, what I was saying about the challenge is the only thing we're missing in terms of the rules is the kids need to join the criminal career. That basically means we need to get Addison through university. I am thinking I might age up Addison, Giovanna and Maya in the next part. Addison's not that much younger than Zane and he's already a young adult. So I have probably delayed that more than I should have. I'm just going to let these two have some privacy and I'll also unlock the door so they can go pee if they need to. I'm so mean. I've decided that that's the only way to make it work. Take them to lots where I can control the doors and then lock them in so they can't wander off. So, I mean, I could have probably completed this challenge already. So me having Ashley and Nadia move out together while the maid, quote unquote maid, is meant to stay in the household, I don't think it would matter. In the same way that I anticipate that in the long run, Jason and Cassidy, assuming they can get Cassidy away from the bears, I think the two of them might end up living in a house together, sort of a bit away from Alex and all of the gang drama. So there are options there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Basically, they need to come up with a way to convince Cassidy and also Madison, her sister, who we haven't spoken to at all, that betraying the bears and getting Madison away from them is the way to go, or at least convincing Cassidy and then making the betrayal of a scope that everyone else in the bears ends up dead or in jail except for Madison. So it's a big task. I'd love to hear any suggestions you have, because honestly, given the restrictions of the game and I don't have the extreme violence mod installed, maybe I could get it. Maybe we could just literally have Alex go in there and do a hit and just kill everybody. I don't know. See what you think. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm actually going to end this part here. I feel like it's been a bit all over the place because at the start I was not anticipating that visit to the gym to go the way it was. I was just anticipating it to be Carissa's pregnancy that would be about, and then the bears showed up and Cassidy showed up. Now I know gyms attract energetic Sims. I won't be surprised to see those three, Devon, Lex and Cassidy, show up to gyms in future. Now I know. So it is what it is, but I was not anticipating it, the secret coming out so quickly. But having Jason be there and Cassidy be there and bears and fixers all being there, it was inevitable that it would. I couldn't see a way to not, especially when Nadia then walked in the room while they were fighting, I couldn't see a way to not have it all come out. We need to get Cassidy and a plan together before Alex finds out, or Alex is going to go ballistic. And that's probably not something any of us want to see. So, yeah, I'm going to leave this part here, you guys. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.